What people think or say about me is actually none of my business. Don't need to hear it. Don't need to know.
Do you love yourself?
I do.
I love myself too. Yeah.
Oh, I'd never do things that way. I'd never do X, Y, Z. I'd never birth like that. I'd never feed my child formula. Plus, I can say I'm a model, so it doesn't matter what my body's doing because I'm attractive. I had to go there to be who I am right now. Every judgment I had ever held to someone who was mother or who was in this stage of life that I'd never experienced before, dismantled.
You're an asshole.
Ask yourself the question who you are when you take the labels away. I'm not being accepted and loved, so I'm just going to be quieter. I'm going to stop celebrating myself.
When did you first know that you had psychic abilities? So my guest for today's episode is a published author of not one but two books,
Right?
a public speaker, a psychic, which I kind of knew but forgot, a podcaster, and you're a wife and mother, which I think they're the best jobs. And you have a passion in life for, I think, helping people shine. I mean, you to me occurs a ray of sunshine, and your energy is palpable when you walk in a room. That's obvious to anyone who meets her. So welcome, Hollie Azzopardi.
Thanks so much for having me, Pete, and thank you for the lovely compliment. It's always a Leo thing, isn't it? We give good compliments, right?
I didn't know that was a Leo thing, but we've got two Leos.
Yeah, watch out.
How are either of us going to get a word in?
I don't know.
That's interesting. I didn't know that about Leos, but I find myself acknowledging people a lot.
Yeah.
And that just comes natural to me. And I notice how little, in general, people acknowledge each other. I think one of the sad things about humanity is how little we acknowledge each other.
And do you know what? I've thought about this a lot too, and because I'm similar to you, and it just kind of comes naturally. And I'll share people, oh, you have to see this person, you have to do this. It's always my thing, cheerleaders of people, right? But I think it's not that people don't want to do that. I think it's the flip side, we're uncomfortable in the receivership of acknowledgement. And so if you can't receive it, then you're not really going to be naturally giving it as well.
Which is completely paradoxical to what people believe about Leos.
Exactly.
They think we want to be the center of attention and that we just want to receive all this adoration, when really, I mean, I'm quite blocked from receiving. And you're saying that you are too?
In the past, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm much better now.
Yes.
But I do recognize the other people in my life that have a resistance to receiving are likely more inclined to also not be generous with thought or recommendation. And I don't think it's because they don't want to be generous. It's just they're not in that flow, that ebb and flow. The reciprocity piece, you know?
They don't, it's like they don't, I think some people just don't think to do it.
It's just completely...
It's not even on their radar that I'm going to affirm and acknowledge someone for how awesome they are.
And I think similarly, I don't know if you're the same, but for me, it's not something that I sit and think I'm going to do this thing. It just comes out. Like if I'm complimenting someone or... Yeah.
For me, it's like if there was something awesome about somebody and I'm not saying it to them, I would feel like that would be a withhold.
Agreed.
I'm withholding information. If there was something I didn't like about them,
yes,
I might say it.
Yes.
But if there's something I do, I'm not going to say it.
No, it's interesting.
I was invited to a men's retreat that happened on the Gold Coast hinterland just over the last weekend, 4-day retreat, 200 men there. The Gathering of Men, it was called, and it was led by the Embodied Man Institute. I was pretty impressed.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for the Sunday, but there was one of the workshops on the Sunday was a bragging circle.
Oh.
So it was where you had to get up and just like blow your own trumpet.
I would have been so good at this.
Would you?
How was it?
I think I wasn't there for it. Like I said, my friend was telling me about it. My friend was telling me about it. It was probably for most people probably quite cringy, I imagine.
Yes.
But he loved it. He thought it was the best thing ever. And, he's not someone to blow his own trumpet, but he found that once he started to do it, because everyone else is just cheering you on. Like everything you say, like this guy was like an A-grade cricketer, A-grade footballer.
Yeah.
But, he would never say that unless you asked him. But then they're like, what? A-grade cricketer? 199 guys. Yeah,
That's
go Tim. And so we don't have this in our culture in Australia. And I know that your book, I saw somewhere on your Instagram that you talk about tall poppy syndrome.
I do.
And so let's start there, because I just heard about this bragging circle with 200 men celebrating
Brilliant.
what's great about them,
Brilliant.
because there's a lot of stuff about toxic masculinity. Men are getting hammered,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's appalling.
Yeah.
And I love all the men's work stuff, that's Mankind Project and these other guys, TGOM, what they're doing for men,
Brilliant.
because they're bringing men back on board. That, men are amazing. You're married to one, yeah, and women are amazing too.
Absolutely.
It's the behaviour that's the problem, not the
Exactly.
person. So we're Leos. Apparently, we like to brag about it ourselves. But in Australia, we have something called tall poppy syndrome.
Yes.
I lived in America for 10 years.
Yes.
I went to California. They don't have it there.
No, they don't.
They celebrate success.
Absolutely, they do.
All right. So I'm going to throw it over to you. What can you tell me that you know about tall poppy syndrome? And what do you want to share about that?
So I dove into this in my second book, Saying Yes to You. The book is divided into Slow Down, Tune In, and Shine Bright. And Shine Bright is fully dedicated to all of the wisdom I've collected over my 35 plus years in what it takes to really shine. And so Tall Poppy was one of those aspects that I had to dive deep into. And what I had established, actually, I learned this first from our mutual friend Zoe Bosco in a kinesiology session around shining maybe 5 or 6 years ago. She shared this wisdom with me, which was that when we look at the chakra ley lines across the globe, the solar plexus ley line, and the solar plexus is our capacity to shine, runs straight through Uluru.
Oh, really?
Australia holds the concentrated energy of the solar plexus chakra of the world.
Wow.
And so when you look at that chakra as imbalanced, because it's apparent, it's very hard to balance an entire chakra in your own system, let alone collectively, right?
The solar plexus is personal power.
Exactly.
And so power's out of balance.
Yes.
Okay.
And then celebration as well, and recognizing that someone who is in the spotlight in their lives, in the shine in their lives, in that beautiful, the solar plexus is the sun, and the sun is how we shine, how we're seen, how we glow. It is Leo ruled by the sun. It is that Leo energy. We are in the hub of a concentrated energy in our country that is totally imbalanced and completely misunderstood. And so, of course, we are going to be the hub of this tall poppy energy that does not know how to celebrate, does not like to celebrate themselves, let alone another, and feels really uncomfortable when it comes to something like a bragging circle. In the research that I did for this book, what was fascinating that I uncovered was there was an article, it's called The Tallest Poppy. It was in a magazine article from years ago. And the researcher for this article showed that we are most inclined to feel that tall poppy energy, not by strangers, but by friends and family in our lives. So actually, the tall poppy syndrome facet of I don't want to shine too bright because what will people say about me, we're more inclined to hear what people say about us, and they're our loved ones. So it pushes straight against that desire to belong and to be part of a community and a tribe. Because if our friends and family are judging us for being our truest, brightest, shiniest self, well, that's not safe. And I don't want to do that. So it's better for me to be part of the herd, which is let's cut down people who are, inverted commas, too big for their boots, too shiny. I've been told, it's the Hollie show by people in my life. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, it is. So it's that energy around, firstly, establishing a safe network where you can bring, yes, your pain and hardship, absolutely, that vulnerable part of you that's going through things, but also the parts of you that are really glowy, shiny, being celebrated and feeling safe in your community to do that. That's actually what's going to counteract this collective concentrated energy of don't shine because it's dangerous.
Well, you did a great job of summarising that. I just want to reflect on that and maybe inquire a bit deeper. Did you experience any of that in your family? Did you, when you shine bright, and I mean, you do shine bright. That's one of the first things I noticed about you when I met you, and it's still there. And don't put that light out. I'm sure you're not going to.
Thank you.
And I would probably dampened my shine down a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because I think that's how I grew up. But did you experience that in your family of origin where they tried to quell your light?
I would say I've actually experienced more in friendships than with family, and I have had challenging family dynamics, as you are aware. But my family is a family of entertainers and musicians, and so there's a big part of my family culturally which is take up space, be on the stage, be seen, shine. So
So it wasn't your family; it was more your friends.
it's been more my
your friend group.
friendships which have not been able to handle my light, and like deep personal friendships that have become working relationships. Lots of these, like constant. I'm talking, Pete. It's not just been one or two. It's been a consistent pattern in my life where when I get inverted commas too shiny for someone, the belittling starts, the covert put downs start. And similar to what you shared where you've had moments where you've dimmed your shine, I've actually just come out of one of those, which lasted probably 5 years, I'm going to say.
That's a long time.
And it was based on a couple of, for lack of a better word, like insidious, close connections that literally would make comments like, oh, you're such a Leo. And those little comments over time that are done in jest were actually maliciously intended for me to do exactly what I did, which was, oh, I'm being too much now. Oh, I'm not being accepted and loved, so I'm just going to be quieter. I'm going to stop celebrating myself. And it took years for me to go, hang on a second, this isn't the truth of who I am. I can't help it. I'm just living my life. I'm just being myself. And that doesn't mean I'm not experiencing pain and hardship in my life. I never bypass what I go through, but a big part of who I am is to be shiny. So yeah, for me, it's definitely been more in the friendship circles dynamics than it has been in family. That said, absolutely, there have been parts of my upbringing where I've been the drama queen, like for sure, 100%.
Anyone can be a drama queen.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've been a drama queen like constantly, and it's been this kind of push-pull if I look back on my childhood and go, yeah, there was the drama queen and overly sensitive child and those things, but also this encouragement to take up space, be on the stage, and yeah, be the drama queen. Again, what a paradox. Don't be the drama queen, but be the drama queen.
You can do it if you're playing a part.
Yes.
But you can't do it if it's the real you.
Exactly that.
If you're playing someone else, then be as flamboyant as you want. But if it's you, then cut
Don't
it down.
do it. Yes.
The thing you said about being told that you're too much, I think two of the most common limiting beliefs that people form, and I've seen this in my coaching clients, you're either too much or you're not enough.
Absolutely.
So nobody's in the Goldilocks zone, But aren't we all in the Goldilocks zone? Aren't we all just right?
Exactly.
We're all just right as we are.
Yes.
But then you get people. So I think what happens is, and I'm no expert on anything, but something gets triggered in someone when you're being your flamboyant, shiny self. I think something in them is triggered, and then rather than do the work of looking, what's got triggered in me?
Yeah.
Is this envy? How am I judging this person to be? A show off.
Show off.
So because I'm into shadow work. So for me, I'd be looking at what judgment am I projecting onto that person that they're a show off? So then I would ask, well, is there a show off in you? And people go, oh, no way, I'm not a show off. And then I'll ask them, would you secretly like to be? And usually they'll answer yes. So it can be envy. What's hiding is the shadow of envy. And I'm not saying this is in all cases, but you want to say, well, why are you so triggered by me just being me?
Yeah.
Like, what's that say about? Forget about what it says about me. You're the one who's triggered. What's it say about you? Because where we're triggered, that's where we need to do work.
That's the pain point.
Yeah, I don't find your bright shining light triggering or
Thank you.
offensive or upsetting or something that I want to quell. I'm like, no, shine as bright as you like. It's like.
It's an interesting one because I have had many a friend who can hold my shine, like what you said, reflect this back to me and say, oh, it's a jealousy thing, it's an envy thing. And for a long time for me, I'm like, well, I don't want my friends to be jealous of me because that's not a friendship. And, maybe I will just dumb it down a little bit or like dim it a little bit because I also have done, and I know we're bringing Leo whatever into it, but I also know there is a quality in me that could be jealous, but I've done so much work on when I feel that envy or when I feel that jealousy, it's inspiration straight. Like, how can I change that into feeling inspired by this person? What is it that they're embodying that's activating that in me? So I do get confused when my friends do reflect back to me, oh, it's an envy thing. Because I'm like, well, I'm just here to be the permission for everyone to activate these parts because everyone has this in them. I guess it's just what I'm here to polarize in. I know I'm here to be polarizing. So I feel like that's part of it. Is some people are going to really love it and take it as inspiration. Other people are going to really judge it and not like it at all. And I'm indifferent to both.
Are you? Because what you said a moment ago was that your friends get jealous. You think your friends have told you that some of your friends are just getting jealous and envious.
Yes.
And then you said, I don't want my friends to be jealous and envious of me.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to dim my light down. So you do care.
Oh,
you're not indifferent.
Definitely not. And yeah, in the past especially, there has been recent incidences, I'm talking as recent as the last few weeks, where this dynamic has presented itself. And it has, while it's been hurtful, I've also gotten to this place of neutrality far quicker than in the past. It hurts in the moment.
Yes.
Of course it hurts. You want to be loved. We want to be loved.
So you're saying in the past it affected you more.
Far more.
But you're at a place now where you care less about what people think of you?
Absolutely. Yes.
I think, look, that's some of the best advice I've ever got for myself. And I think it's some of the best advice I ever give to people as a coach. You've written 2 books. What's one of the titles of your books? Putting Yourself First.
Yes.
And Saying Yes to You.
Yes.
Love those titles.
Thank you.
There are some books that I haven't read that are amazing books because I got everything I needed to know in the title.
Yes.
And I don't know that I need to read either of your books because it says it all there. Put yourself first, or putting yourself first, and saying yes to you.
Absolutely.
I'm like, what more do you need to read?
100%.
So there's 4 other books like that are in my life. One is What You Think of Me Is None of My Business. I saw that in a bookstore once. I'm like, I don't need to read that. The title gives me everything I need to know.
I love that.
And when I got that title, I stopped caring about what people think of me without reading the book.
Yes.
Another one is Stop Lying to Yourself. That's another good book that's out there. Again, I've just stopped lying to myself, which is pretty much the fundamental basis of shadow work.
That one's major.
Stop kidding yourself.
100%.
Another one is, this one came up on the men's retreat. The guy who wrote it was there, Dr. Glover. No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Ooh.
I've always been a people pleaser, nice guy my whole life.
Yes.
And since I stopped being the nice guy, my life's gotten a lot better.
100%.
So I didn't need to read his book.
No.
Because it's all there in the title. And then the last one, Einstein's Theory of Relativity.
We love an Einstein moment. I talk about Einstein in the first book.
I don't really understand the Einstein's theory. So I think you and I have have similar interests in certain areas of conversation. So I want to go over, let's start with putting yourself first. A lot of people, when they hear that would say, oh, but that's selfish.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you say to those people?
I would say, well, in the book, I pull up the definition of selfish and I literally break it down because I knew that was going to be the objection that most people would have. And I'm big on words. So I went, okay, the definition of selfish, and I'm not going to be able to repeat it off the top of my head right now, but it is in the book. And there's an undertone where you're doing something with the intent to hurt or harm someone else. That's actually the definition of selfishness. So putting yourself first actually isn't a selfish act.
Where's any selfishness in
You're
that?
not doing anything to harm another person. In fact, you're actually giving yourself less harm than if you were to dilute your worth by putting everyone else before yourself. This selfish objection is a pretty easy cop-out, I would say. It's the most obvious thing to say, well, if you're putting yourself first, then it's to the detriment to everyone else. What I share in that first book is actually when you come to understand, the book's divided into know thyself, know thy energy, know thy values. And then know thy people. So this is about really knowing who you are, what's important and what you value, what your energy, how it works, how it feels good, how it feels vital, how to charge it, and then who your people are. That is what's going to counteract your people-pleasing tendencies. Nowhere in that is you are choosing you to the detriment of your relationships. You are choosing you to the detriment of your children. We have responsibilities, and you and we have young daughters. I can't put myself first to her detriment. She's my priority. Absolutely. It's not about that. But it's how can I choose me in the moments that will make me a better mother, a better partner, a better friend. That's the undercurrent of these teaching as opposed to write everyone off And I think we do see this especially, or it might not even be especially in our circles, but there can be this little spiritual bypassing thing of like, I'm feeling into that and it's a no from me. And there's the flakiness that can come with that. And there's the unappreciation of other people's time, or this is just how it feels for me. And so like lack of empathy as well. I'm not talking about the bypassing nature of choosing you. I'm talking about knowing yourself more and then making decisions and choices in your life from that true and embodied place.
How do you know yourself more?
Well, first you have to ask yourself the question who you are when you take the labels away. So when and this actually happened to me more in the second book when I went through matrescence, and it was like my first huge identity dissolution.
Yeah.
I was no longer who I was before that initiation into motherhood. Every mask I'd ever worn was fallen away.
Wow.
Who was I? I didn't know. And this was where I came completely crumbling down. I tried to lean on the identity of business owner and it wasn't working. I tried to lean on the identity of, relationship and it wasn't working. And so I actually had to go through this huge journey on not even rediscovering myself, but reestablishing actually who I was. It's asking questions. What do you value? What were my values? I didn't know. I couldn't answer that question. So I had to sit with lists of what values were and go, okay, these are the ones that are calling me. Am I living in congruence with these values? Nope. One of my biggest values always is health and well-being. And there was a large time in my life, it's always the number one value of mine that drops, like when I'm feeling less myself. Why is that? It's like, okay, well, I'm not giving myself enough of an opportunity to be truly who I want to be by leaning into what my values are rather than just ignoring them. So in putting yourself first, there's a whole section on actually establishing values.
Yeah.
Once you know your values, then you can start to build who you are.
It's a great place to start.
Yeah.
I agree. If people don't know who they are, I think doing a little value audit.
That's it.
At least you want to get the top five in order.
Exactly.
That's enough. That's a good start.
Yes.
So on that, would you like to share potentially what your top 5 values might be? You don't have to get them in order.
Absolutely. So health and well-being is absolutely one of my top 5.
Is that at the top?
It's one of the 5. Yeah, I won't put them in order. Love, and sometimes I say love and compassion or love and kindness. I feel like the two go hand in hand. Spirituality and soul, family and connection. I said kindness, didn't I?
Yep, love and kindness.
Freedom comes and goes depending on the life season.
Yes, right.
Yeah, depending on like how much freedom I can have.
Once you become a parent, you throw freedom down the...
Exactly. I'm not going to really give myself a hard time about freedom. Yeah. But absolute health and wellness, love and connection, kindness, spirituality, family, they're my sweet spots.
Do you want to have a stab at what might be the top?
In the past, it was health and wellness.
Yeah.
I think family is really trumping that at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, great. There's a reason I'm asking. My highest value used to be freedom. Mm. That's why I was single at 58.
Yep, checks out.
And then I realised, geez, I've had a lot of freedom, but I'm going to die without leaving anything behind. And so I swapped out freedom and I put that second and I put responsibility at the top.
Wow.
So now I'm responsible for so much. Like my family, I've got a company, I've got people I employ, I've got a whole client load, and I feel responsible for the well-being of my clients because they're paying me to help them with their well-being, right? And so the reason I ask why, this is an interesting thing, and I heard this from a friend, your highest value will always hijack the majority of your time.
Checks out again.
It's a good one, isn't it?
That is so good.
Most of my time used to be spent on freedom.
That is so good.
I used to work 3 days a week and have 4 days off. So there's more freedom than responsibility. Now I work 6 days a week and I don't know what free time is anymore. I need to bring a little bit of balance to that, of course. And but I think that's something people should maybe think about. Like, where are you in your life? And is it where you want to be? And if it's not,
change it.
Then look at your values and notice what you got at the top. That's where your time's going.
So when you chose responsibility, was that like a conscious, did it come to you one day? Did you sit with a list of, I'm so intrigued.
I think I was maybe influenced a bit by Jordan Peterson. Everyone's fighting for rights,
yes,
but nobody's talking about responsibility.
Yes.
And I'm like, he's spot on. Like everyone wants to feel entitled.
Yes.
I want the right to this and I want the right to that. But what about the responsibility?
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing with your life? Like pick up a burden and carry it. So I think I was definitely influenced by Jordan Peterson.
Wow.
But I've got a Capricorn rising, so Capricorns are responsible.
That's actually perfect for you then.
I think I need, in order to leave a legacy behind, like a
Yes.
family and maybe a body of
Business,
work,
yes.
that requires responsibility. Freedom's not going to get the job done.
Do you know what? I love that you brought astrology into this too, because I feel like that if people don't know where to start, get your chart read, get an understanding of your keys, and then choose your values based on that.
So Carl Jung, who's I think the greatest, or the deepest thinker of our time,
Absolutely.
and I think really like the godfather, the OG of depth psychology, he used to read all his clients' charts before he saw them. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. So, and astrology used to be a science up there with astronomy. Now it's considered woo-woo.
I know.
But anybody who's spent any time investigating astrology will know that it's a valid, science.
Insight into why people are the way they are. Actually,
It's a blueprint.
it's a brilliant segue into another factor of how do people get to know who they are, because in saying yes to you, I talk about astrology.
Get your chart done.
I say get your chart read, and this is why. Understand your human design, and this is why. Understand gene keys, and this is why. Like that, we do have so many modalities available to us, and this woo-woo, I rip that term to shreds in a podcast of mine because it is diluting, actually, as you said, credible, scientific, and intellectual practices that identify why you are the way you are. What are your truest expressions of self? It's a big reason why I was like, I'm turning my light back on, because I am a Leo sun and I'm meant to be in the sun. That is why I am the way I am.
I'll just pivot back. When you said you went into like a 5-year thing,
Yes.
Was it because your friends started to say to you, you're shining too brightly or something to that effect, and then did you decide to dim your light a little bit?
Yeah.
What happened when you dimmed your light? What was the result of that?
I had never been more out of alignment, and I've known in the past what it feels like to be in alignment. Like I'm in it now. I'm getting opportunities, people wanting me on their podcast, things are popping off in my world. I feel good. I feel vital. I feel excited. Alignment to me is when I'm drinking my cacao in the morning and I have tears of gratitude. I'm so aligned. The more that I started to dim, the less I had those experiences, the less I felt seen, acknowledged, successful, grateful. And it actually compounded. It was like a couple of years before I became a mother, this was happening over time. And then I had my transition into motherhood, and that just took me right down. So this is why it took me such a long time to bring my light back on, because it was that compounded impact of the couple of years of insidious, don't shine, don't be too much, you are too much, paired with complex trauma and PTSD. Mm-hmm. So there was no shining for a long time.
Gotcha.
I had to wallow in the shadows. And that's why right now, because I've got this shine back, this me back that I knew was there all along, I am so committed to not letting that fall again. So if there are people in my life.
And so I want to pause you for a moment, because that fall into the shadows is a rich place to discover more about who you are and who you're not.
Yes.
And don't you think so?
I learned more about myself in that period than any other time in my life.
So these dark nights of the soul, as I and other people call them, they seem like they're horrible experiences at the time, and then they're to your detriment because you're not doing your normal shining bright thing. Oh my, no, I'm in the belly of the beast.
Yeah.
But through that process, I think it worked for you.
Yeah.
Because if you're just naturally bright, and you're shining on brightly, shining brightly, you will never.
There's no depth.
You won't go, look what's there when I'm not shining brightly.
Exactly.
And what did you find there that was useful? Like when you were, what did you find? What did you discover about yourself?
Well, it was when I came to see you. It was around that time. And you know what? This pairs with my transition to motherhood, which was such a deeply humbling experience for me. I was humbled. A lot of the, I talk about the ego death. A lot of that happened for me in those few years, where it was like every judgment I had ever held to someone who was mother or who was in this stage of life that I'd never experienced before, dismantled. Oh, I'd never do things that way. I'd never do X, Y, Z. I'd never birth like that. I'd never feed my child formula. I'd never boom, boom, boom. Every single thing was like, well, you have no choice now. You have to do the thing you said you would never do. And can you be okay with that? And for a long time, I couldn't. So much shame, so much guilt, self-judgment, a lot around my body, my physical body. Chronic illness started to build up. It was just this festering wound of disgusting energy that I had no choice but to sit with and get to know.
Do you not see the karmic beauty in all those judgments that you had against those mothers? You came face to face with those very judgments. Karma's a bitch, man, but it can be so liberating.
Enriching as well for me to go, oh, I get it. And I'm still a good person and they're good people too.
Yes.
And so I think a big thing that it taught me, other than like looking at the shit and the muck of who I was for a long time, was also this piece around real appreciation and understanding of every person's path, mother or not, whatever you're going through. We're all experiencing stuff we don't know about. And that experience very much humbled me to go, oh, I am much more open-minded, compassionate. The compassion piece has been huge, and also gentler with myself.
And you're less judgmental of others?
Oh, hugely so.
And therefore less judgmental of yourself.
I think this is what the gift has been, because now it's like, oh, I'm too much cool. Like,
yeah.
Okay, you think that cool?
Yeah.
I'm going to be too much then.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
It's like when my nephew said to me, Uncle Peter, you're an arsehole. I'm like, yeah, I can be.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure, everyone can be an arsehole. To cater to the projections of someone else who's also being inauthentic.
Exactly.
But doesn't want to face it in them and wants to project it onto you, you fall for the sneakiest of tricks.
Yes.
If you allow people's judgments. That's why, hey, what you think of me is none of my business.
And it's so interesting when coming back to that sentence itself, I was in a bodywork session about a month ago and I had heard some things, when people come to you, oh, this person said this about you, whatever. Someone in my social circle had said something about me. And I got on the bodywork table and I said, I just want to work on my energy. It's fine. It wasn't fine. I wasn't okay. But she worked on the energy and that sentence came to me. What people think about me is none of my business. It just repeated the entire bodywork session. This was only a month ago. So I love that you're reflecting it back to me. And I came off that table and I went, yeah, what people think or say about me is actually none of my business. Don't need to hear it. Don't need to know.
Yeah, but once you make it your business, you've shot yourself in the foot.
You spiral.
Yeah, because you're buying into their view of you.
Yes.
So you're seeking external validation
Exactly.
from people who probably don't even learn to like themselves yet, and are projecting what they don't like about them onto you.
Yes.
And then you buy into that.
And then no one wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is the running theme for me, which is why I dedicated so much of that second book to shining bright, because I feel like if that is the lesson I can leave even one reader with, like go out and be too much anyway, then your life will open up in the most incredible ways. When you back yourself, believe in yourself, and then share that with the world, holy moly, it's an incredible space to be in.
Another way of saying that is if what other people think of me is none of my business, and this is how I say it to my clients, I'm like, forget about what other people think of you. That's not important. What you think of you is really important.
I write this in the book.
Yeah, right.
I say, instead of asking what do they think of me, write what do I think of me.
Yes, and so when you were judging yourself negatively and poorly, those were the thoughts you were having about yourself. What do you think of you now?
I'm so proud of me.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I think
Leos are all about
We're
pride.
really proud. I'm really in my Leo at the moment, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I know my heart, and I know that I am a kind and loving person, and a good mum and a good wife.
Yeah.
And that is enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm ticking those boxes. I'm good.
And if the judges and haters out there want to project stuff onto you, I mean, that you'd be Teflon coated against that, because once you know who you are and you're satisfied with who you are, and you love, respect and trust who you are, then nothing else touches that. You become impermeable to other people's projections. Would you say?
Ducks back. Yeah. It's honestly, and it truly is the first time in my life, Pete, where I've had these experiences that I've had in the past, and they've hurt and they've taken me down, and I've gone, I just want to belong, and I just want to be loved, and I just want to be accepted. And this has been such a gift of this recent experience for me to go, you know what? Cool. That's how they feel, and that's their stuff. Sweet. I'm going to keep in my lane, because I know the truth of who I am.
Do you love yourself?
I do.
I love myself too.
Yeah.
And I've only been able to say that for about 5 years, because I did my shadow work first.
Yeah.
But I was always chasing that. I was always wanting that. But, and I grew up in a time when self-love was considered being conceited.
Yes.
We always had a negative connotation to love yourself.
Yeah.
That's crazy talk.
Crazy. It's crazy.
And there'll probably be people who listen to this might still think it's
Oh,
crazy.
it'll be a polarizing thing to say.
Yeah. And do you need everyone on the planet to love you?
No.
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 I actually feel like the more I love myself, the more people don't love me.
Oh, really?
It's a little bit like that for me personally.
Yeah. Well, you'll have those, of course, who do love you.
Yeah, of course. And that's it. I've got my people.
Yeah, that's right. And not everyone's going to love you, and you don't need everyone to. If you need everyone to love you, like you've got, I think, a mental illness.
It's called narcissism.
I love that. Love that. Oh, that's a mic drop moment right there. That's exactly what that is.
Well, that was definitely something I learned from you in our session as well when we went on that journey together where it was like, I remember saying to you, am I a narcissist? I was so confused. Like, what is this? But it was a lot of narcissistic wounds that I was carrying for sure.
Yeah. As a trauma therapist and shadow work coach, a lot of my clients have either been in intimate relationships with narcissists or they're the children of narcissists. And, I know that word's thrown around. Some people think it's thrown around too much. I think it maybe it's not thrown around enough. I think people actually really need to educate themselves about narcissism because you may not know if you're dating one and you may not know for years because they can be very charming. But you'll find out eventually. And so, I think everybody needs to learn more about narcissism. We should be taught it in high school, how to identify the narcissistic profile, because those people are predatory and parasitic and they're all out for themselves. Yes. And people need to know how to spot them and how to manage them and how to deal with them, I believe.
And I think this is where people get confused with loving yourself versus that. It's like you can be one or the other.
Oh, they couldn't be. They're opposite.
They're so opposite, right?
Yeah.
But I think more people need to know that.
No, you see, the narcissist needs everyone else to love them.
Yes.
If you love yourself, you really don't need anyone else to love you.
Exactly.
Well, I think we just sorted something pretty deep out just then.
Felt quite big.
Who would have thought two big Leos who love themselves? They're not going to get big. Some people are probably throwing up in their mouth at the moment. Yeah. But for those of you who are interested in loving yourself, maybe me and Hollie can, show you how.
We can be the lighthouses.
Yeah, I was searching for that my whole life.
Me too.
All I wanted to do was, feel good about me.
Yeah.
To like me, to love me.
It's a permission slip.
To be okay, to be satisfied with who I am.
Yeah.
And I now know why I wasn't because of the way I was showing up. How could I respect and love myself how I was showing up?
100%. And it's actually one of the things that keeps surprising me, not so much now, especially after this conversation, but one of the biggest pieces of feedback I receive from especially women who listen to my podcast or have read my books or just follow me online is thank you for shining. You give me permission to do the same.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm telling you, Pete, it's the number one piece of feedback I receive.
Wow.
And it's not like I'm trying.
No, I get it.
Or I've not gone out there and been, I teach people how to shine. Yeah. I'm just being the embodiment of who I am.
Yeah.
In that,
right.
Giving that permission. And that's all I can ask for.
What's attractive about a man is his presence. And what's attractive about a woman is her radiance.
Oh.
So
that's so nice.
So radiating is shining. They're the same thing, aren't they, really?
Absolutely.
And so people appreciate you when you're radiating, when you're shining.
Yes.
Because what's inside's coming through. It's not about how you look on the superficial, on the outside. If you love yourself and you've got a big heart, that shines through. And people are like, oh, thank you for letting me see your light. Because I now know what's possible. If you can do it, I can do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's been unfolding, which has been so nice to go, I've spent years trying to be accepted and loved and, to have my work in the world, like the trying inverted commas thing in my maidenhood mostly. And when I had no choice but to go to the depths and the darkness and then it's like the phoenix rising, right? You take the grit and the mess and you face it head on and then you rise. And then for me, the rising has been the last 12 months. And this shining, it's like, it's all worth it. And that I don't have to try. I just get to be. And there's just no effort in being because it's just life is easier because I just get to radiate and be myself. And how nice is that?
Right. Yes. It takes a lot of question marks away, doesn't it?
It really does.
Do you hate anyone?
In the past, I would have said yes.
What do you say now? The answer is no, right? I mean,
the answer is no.
I don't put words in your mouth.
The answer is no.
I don't hate anybody.
No, I can't harbour hate.
Yeah, nor can I. And I think that Because people say that hate is the opposite of love. I'm like, no, that's nonsense.
I agree with you.
I don't think love has an opposite.
I love that. I've only been thinking about this lately because I know that in like the heart can hold love and grief, but grief isn't the opposite of love. Grief is love.
Yeah, you only grieve because you love.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree. I don't think there is an opposite of love.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
It's not hate because, I mean, I don't hate anybody.
No.
I mean, there's some pretty despicable humans on the planet who I think need to be rounded up and locked up.
Yes.
And, some of them I would even be happy if they were punished. Doesn't mean I hate them. I just think they deserve what they have coming to them.
Yes.
But I don't hate them. Like, what's hate going to achieve? But I don't know if you've noticed, hate seems to be trending.
Oh yeah. I've seen a lot of hate speak.
Yeah, and they're trying to stop hate speech, aren't they?
It's very it's very conflicting. I'm very confused.
I know. Let's not promote self-love.
No.
Let's put in laws to stop hate speech.
I feel like a lot of hatred that we can see online or that we can experience in our own lives is actually anger with nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And so it's actually a misplaced anger.
Yeah, and unintegrated shadow.
100%.
Yeah, like
those two things combined
whatever
equals,
it is I'm hating out there is something I haven't looked at in me.
Even the word hate though, it just feels so dense and heavy. Like when you're like, do you hate anyone? My whole body contracted and it's like, oh, I don't carry that energy with me at all. No, I don't. Like there's a lot of, as you said, pain and grief and suffering, and I've had some shitty things happen to me in my life too, but to carry hate almost feels like you're letting them win in a way. It's like you're allowing that energy to infiltrate the purity that's available to you and the love that is available to you. If you're holding hate, you can't fully access the full spectrum of love that is available. You can't.
Yeah.
It dilutes it.
The only place I've seen hate actually is in narcissists. I think narcissists are very capable of hating.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah, we can use the word hate, but actually, are you really feeling it? And that's a scary thought. That's if you are feeling hate, that's very, very scary. So I think, you would know way more than me, but that makes sense that it would be a narcissistic thing.
Yeah, that's why I've seen it.
Oh,
I don't know if it's consistent or narcissist, but I believe it is. Yeah. Let's get back to putting yourself first. That's the title of your first book.
Yeah.
Because I want to explore that a little bit further because I'm a chronic recovering people pleaser.
Likewise.
People pleasers don't put themselves first. In fact, they way down the order.
Yeah.
And my definition of a people pleaser is someone who prioritises the needs of others over their needs.
Yes.
And I've been doing that most of my life, and I learned that. I don't need to go in how I learned that, but I learned that from my childhood. And you can learn to be a people pleaser in different ways. Some people learned it because their parents were people pleasers. Mm-hmm. That's not how I got there. And so I would never put myself first, or rarely put myself first. I don't say never. I don't like those absolute terms, but I would rarely put myself first. I discovered that wasn't working for me through doing shadow work. And so now I think, now that I've got a partner and a child, it's like I'm happy to put myself equal first.
Yes.
With them.
Yes.
Rather than me first and them second, or them first and me second. I did fall for it when I first became a dad. I put them first.
Mm.
And I discovered, it took me a few months, that I discovered that wasn't working for our family.
It does not work.
It doesn't work.
No.
And I'm like, so then I went to, I've got to put myself first. Otherwise I'm going to just go down the drain.
Oh, yeah.
And so then I had said to my partner, I says, I've been putting you guys first. It's not working. It's like I'm depleted. I'm screwed. I need to start putting myself first. And this is how I'm going to go about it. And she's like, well, okay. And that got me out of the hole I was in.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, maybe I can just equal first.
Yes.
Because I don't want to put them second necessarily. I'm no better than. And they are definitely my priority because, they're my people. They're my closest people. So putting yourself first can include putting your loved ones equal first.
Absolutely. And it's so interesting that you share this as your example, Pete, because I wrote that book when I was pregnant with my little girl. I wasn't a mother yet. So I could write about putting yourself first from that place of maidenhood where it was just me and Trent. And we'd been together for 13 years and we had our dogs, but that was kind of it. So it was much easier for me to choose me every day and pretty much every moment. That's why I wrote the second book, because I went, hang on a second, and I stand by everything I wrote in that first book.
Right, still all valid.
All valid, 100%, mother or not, parent or not, wherever you're at in your journey. They're actually called the People Pleasers Guides. So I love that you brought People Pleaser, because it's the People Pleasers Guide to Putting Yourself First.
Oh, great title.
Yeah, thank you.
Has it sold? Is it doing well?
That first book is an Australian bestseller.
Is it really? Oh,
Yeah,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
Wow, you don't know the difference you've made. Or maybe you do. Being Leo, maybe you do know.
It's still hard for me to grasp how many copies are out in the world.
Do you know how many?
There's over 15,000.
Okay.
Which for me, for a little book that I just wrote, it was my first ever book while I was pregnant and
That's
still
awesome.
figuring life out. Yeah, that feels like in Australia, 10,000 copies sold makes you a bestseller.
Yeah, okay, great.
So
well done.
At last count, it was there. Yeah,
A little
thank you.
bragging session?
Yeah, a little bit. My friends say this too. They're like, you need to tell more people how many copies have sold. But it's just,
I think if people hear the title, a lot of people are going to resonate with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the People Pleaser's Guide to Putting Yourself First. Yeah. Great title. Did you come up with that or did the publisher? You came up with it.
That was me.
And I bet you the publisher didn't want to change it.
Well, this is actually what happened is I'd written that as an ebook 5 years before my publisher approached me. And then she approached me for something separately, got my out of office email that had the title, and she emailed me straight away and said, you need to turn this into a book. We need to work with that title. What have you got? So it was the title that sold it.
Because the publishers know it is the title that sells the book. And like it's all in the title. I mean, maybe I'm a slow learner sometimes, but sometimes I'm a quick learner. And, you know, I haven't read your book and I don't think I need to anymore.
You've learned everything you need to know.
Yeah, I think I have.
If you're a people pleaser, you need to put yourself first.
Correct, because that's what you've not been doing your whole life.
And that's exactly what it is. And then for me, it was like when I became a mother, I've got a child that's relying on me. I have a husband that's really struggling and I don't even know who I am anymore. And that's why the second book was People Pleaser's Guide to Saying Yes to You, because it's about saying yes to the new version of who you are. That book isn't just for mothers. It's for anyone who's gone through an ego death or a shadow moment where your entire life and your identity has crumbled and you are at that rock bottom. How do I say yes to me? How do I start to pick up the pieces? That's what the second book's about. So they both feed into each other quite nicely.
Saying yes to you is sometimes going to mean saying no to others, isn't it?
A big part of that book is about my family estrangement and ending a relationship with a family member. And in my People Pleaser's Guide to Putting Yourself First, that was not the case. That I still had the relationship with this family member.
Okay.
And then in saying yes to me as a mother, as someone who is picking up the pieces of who I was, in doing lots of work with you, I had to establish, hang on a second, there are some people in my life that actually don't get access to me. And the best thing I can do as a chronic people pleaser is I need to say yes to me, and that is saying no to people that I never thought I'd say no to.
Right. And it's not even the people that you were saying no to. What was it about the people that you were saying no to? Were you in an abusive relationship? Was their behaviour inappropriate or unacceptable?
All of the above. Yeah. And like 30 plus years of it.
Okay.
And so for me, I had to become a parent to go no more, because I was looking at myself and going, what is my little girl seeing? And she is seeing a man abusing me.
Yeah.
And me accepting it because he's a family member.
You were putting her first, your daughter.
Yes.
In a way.
Exactly.
Right.
Absolutely. I was going, she is not going to see this. She's not repeating this pattern. And so in doing that and saying yes to her and me, it was saying, no, you no longer have access to me, to this family member. It's been almost 2 years.
And how do you feel about that decision, saying no to that family member?
Most liberating thing I've ever done. I sit with it every day.
Yeah, of course.
But it's almost like my decision has just been further emphasized as the right one in those 2 years. It's not that it's like, oh, maybe I made the wrong decision. It's like everything is just confirming for me that it was the right decision to be made.
Yeah, I've got a family member who I have to say no to. And it's not even them I'm saying no to. It's the behaviour they exhibit whenever they're around me.
Exactly.
And so I've learned that as a people pleaser, you don't generally have pretty good interpersonal boundaries. They can be a bit, bit too fluid. So yeah, I've had to construct healthy boundaries, and even with one of my siblings. So yeah, he doesn't really get access other than hello.
Yeah.
Because anything after that is just not going to go well for either of us really, but definitely for me.
Yeah.
And so I don't hate him. I don't hate anybody. In fact, I even love him. He's a family member.
This is the piece.
Yeah, I love you, but unless you can show up as a loving being, then I can't really have you in close proximity to my life.
That's what I've been grappling with, is because when I first said no, there was a lot of anger for me. It was like, oh, I don't hold love for this person. Like, you're out of my life. Like, that was very like angry and just.
Well, you maybe needed to go through that.
I needed to go through that. And I feel like it's only been in the last few months where, for me, it's my dad, just to put it out there. And
I think everybody already worked
I think
that
everyone
out.
knows. They've joined the dots. And also I write about it in my book, so it's fine. Everyone knows, it's public knowledge. You know, my brother still has a relationship with him. And so he'll have visited my dad, and then he'll come and share stories and laughs they've had, and I'll have a laugh. And I'll say, oh, that's so typical of dad. Or I have that love. And so that's actually been the interesting space that I've been sitting in, which is like, I can love as my dad and also say no, because you don't get access to me because of the way you are me, or the way you are at full stop. But also it's been this tricky point around the nostalgic yearning for something that I never really got from him. So it's almost like, you know that feeling is like, oh,
the missing piece.
The missing piece. But it's almost like I wish it could be the way that it never was, and I know it never will be.
Yeah.
But in the absence, it's like, well, maybe it could, and I just know it won't. So it's just this heart head situation.
Long pause for editing.
Yeah. I think for me, it's saying yes to yourself. People hear that and they think, oh, I got to run more bubble baths.
Okay.
I got to do the self-care things. That is like 5%. I think saying yes to yourself is having these really hard conversations, asserting boundaries in ways you never have before, and taking responsibility for where in your life is a pain point where something needs to be done, a conversation needs to be had, a conflict might need to be, people pleasers, we're chronic conflict avoiders. We don't want conflict. We want everyone to get along with us and everyone to think we're great and everything's fine. I am not that girl anymore. I had to write 2 books to get to this point, but if conflict arises, I lean all the way in.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Let's be honest. Yeah. Let's get this out in the air. I don't want anything insidious. This is how I feel. If I'm hurt, I will say, I feel hurt by this.
Yeah.
If the relationship feels done, I will say now, the relationship is done. That is because I've done the work on actually what it takes to say yes to you, which is not to be everyone's best friend, everyone's favorite person, the light in everyone's lives. That's not my responsibility. I just get to choose what feels best for me in my system. And a lot of the time saying yes to you, it's not just the wishy-washy things we think we know. It's the real gritty, painful, but necessary conversations and experiences to have. And a lot of it is relationship-based.
Yes, I find myself repeating myself a lot with my coaching clients. And some of the things that I repeat over and over again is that the most important conversations to have are the difficult ones and the uncomfortable ones. And about 50% of people will avoid those because you've got people who are kind of less assertive and they'll avoid conflict, and the more assertive people are quite happy to lean into conflict. But you can move along that spectrum from not being too assertive to being more assertive, which I think both you and I have done.
Yes.
So I also now lean into conflict.
Yes.
Before I would avoid it. I didn't have any skills before.
No.
And so whenever I attempted to deal with conflict, it would usually escalate. And so I had to upskill myself. And now I teach those skills, like on how to manage conflict and confrontation, because there's plenty of that around.
Yeah.
And you don't get any better at conflict by avoiding it, do you?
You get well, conflict finds you more because you're being avoidant. And so there's a lot more, again, it's that word insidious. It's an insidious energy. People pleasing can actually be quite manipulative in a way because you're just wanting people to be okay around you, and so you put on these faces that are actually not the truth of who you are. And so people can, and this was especially my research in my first book, people can feel hard done by people pleasers, manipulated by people pleasers.
Well, you're not being authentic with the person.
And then the resentment builds, and that person's like, well, I didn't know you were feeling these things. You never told me. So in learning that, I have realized that, the more that I'm just like upfront and honest, not in a brutal way. You can be honest with kindness and love, but still assertive in that this is how I have felt. You can't get your feelings wrong. All you can say is, this is how that experience made me feel.
Yes.
There's only truth in that. And if someone can't hold that, then okay, there's an opportunity for the relationship to part ways. But at least you know it's been in truth, transparency, and honesty. So I do think that truth and honesty are almost like the allies when it comes to counteracting people-pleasing tendencies. Is where are you being dishonest with either yourself or with someone else in your life? Because people-pleasers lie.
People pleasers lie.
People-pleasers lie.
Mostly by withhold, but yeah, I certainly was a liar when I was a people pleaser. Now that I'm way less of a people pleaser, I'm also way less of a liar. Like, I think I've told one lie in the last couple of years.
Yeah, you're far more honest. And this is how I felt in my life too.
I think that's the number one bit of advice I'd probably give to people is shoot for 100% honesty.
Yes, I lean on that, especially since writing both of the books. That is my thing now. Where can I be more honest in this exchange? Honesty doesn't mean you're being hurtful. It's not brutal honesty. No. It's not you're an asshole. It's not that.
It's not like, yes, your butt does look big in those jeans.
Yeah. It's definitely not that.
I would always withhold that.
Absolutely always with it. Unless she's going for the juicy peach look.
Butt, yeah.
Exactly. But it's more when you're honest about your feelings, about any sense of conflict and how it's made you feel. I think it's a and a lot of the time people need to know what they're feeling in the first place. And this is where we get that misplaced anger directed at other when we're not moving it through ourselves because we're not being honest with our feelings.
So you have gone through a process, and I asked you before if you love yourself, and you said yes, right? For me, my path, and I don't know if it was similar for you, because there used to be lots of parts of me I couldn't love. And they were the bits that I had to confront. And I had to look at those and go, oh, geez, I can be a liar, a cheat, a thief, controlling, manipulative, selfish. I can be all these things. I had no idea because I still had my mask on. And so the way I got to self-love was by learning to love the parts of me that I found difficult to love. Is it similar for you?
And the things that I felt most difficult to love are firstly my too muchness, which you spent a lot of time thinking about. So much inner shame around.
You know you're not too much, right? I think you're just the right amount.
Thank you. Just right. I'm Goldilocksing it. It's taken time though, Pete. Like that inner critic of me is like the voice in my head.
Yeah.
Tone it down, Hollie.
Yeah.
People are cringing. You're being cringy. The cringe thing was huge. You're so awkward. You're so embarrassing. It's all that too much.
Wow.
Also, don't be too smart. So I remember in primary school.
Is there such a thing?
Well, apparently, I remember knowing answers to questions in primary school and not putting my hand up because I didn't want to appear like a know-it-all.
Right, you didn't want to stand out.
Didn't want to stand out.
Tall poppy.
All of it. So all of it has really been encoded in this too muchness, even with my body, my physical body. So there's a lot of shame I've had to dismantle around being in the body that I have, which is by nature a body that gets attention. And I have been wronged for that attention my entire life. And so I wrong myself for it. Don't dress a certain way. Don't let people look at you a certain way. Then I went the other end of the spectrum and went, I'm going to be a bikini model because fuck everyone else,
This is what I love about the Brazilian women.
Yes. They just don't care.
No matter what their body's like, they're wearing a G-string on the beach.
The best time I had on a beach.
And they celebrate their body regardless of size.
Yes, Spain. The beach in Spain, right. And I was like, oh my gosh. And there were women in their 60s topless, and I was like, this is the best.
You felt like just...
Oh, liberated, free. Like I just could do it, So, yeah, it's been the too muchness thing in it's touched every aspect of my life, Pete. My brain, my body, my energy.
Well, I'm going to put my hand up here and confess that I do have a judgment. I've had this most of my life. Because I've got, do I still have any judgment? One of the judgments I have is towards obese people. Yes. I negatively judge obese people.
Yes.
But it's not their weight that it's the issue. In fact, of course, it always reflects back to me.
Of course.
Because then I judge that they're lazy.
Where has that come from?
Where does that come from?
Yeah, the lazy story. Just based on the fact that if they're obese, they're not.
I assume that they're lazy. Yeah. And then I judge them that they don't care about themselves. So I make just add judgment to judgment, right?
Yeah.
But I would say, how would you describe your size or your weight?
I would describe myself as curvaceous.
Curvaceous. Okay, let's go with curvaceous.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're a curvaceous woman.
Yes.
And when I see you, like I see that you're totally comfortable in your body.
Yes.
Yeah, so you love all of you, including your body.
It took time.
And that shows.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what I'm seeing, because maybe I'm like, they don't look like they care about themselves. That's what it's really about.
Yes.
Not that they're lazy,
No.
not that they're overweight.
No.
They look like they're not caring for themselves.
Yes. And, it's been a big and really humbling initiation for me, especially someone with chronic illness. So that really was established after I gave birth, and it's been the last 4 years of my life around these chronic illnesses that I couldn't get out and exercise even if I wanted to. I was so physically unwell that I was in survival for years and years. And of course, when you're in that state, the weight just piles on. And I was someone who in the past had, yes, a curvaceous frame, but much like smaller, big breasts, and that be it. So I was used to being this sexy archetype really in my body. Still held a lot of shame around it, but also felt pretty good about it because that was something that I knew, like my body was sexy. Then over the last few years, it's been this compounding weight. I can't exercise. I'm seeing women give birth and then they're fitting in their jeans 2 months later. And for me, it was like 3.5 years later, I still wasn't. And it's not for a lack of trying or the fact that I was lazy. It's that I was so sick that I could not look after my body more than the rest it needed and being there for my little girl. I'm at a state now, though, that this year we were in a mold infested home. So I had severe mold illness. I got so sick.
That's toxic.
Oh, it's the worst I've ever been, Pete.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I thought I was going to die. Yes.
Yeah.
And I also had MCAS. So I couldn't eat anything, but the weight kept piling on. And it was basically me confronting one of my biggest fears, which was, and I can be honest with this, is like what happens when I don't have my body? Like what happens if I am fat, overweight? How do I feel then? And for me, I've had to do so much deconditioning around, it's been such a head fuck, to be honest. The shame I've held in my body that I've been wronged for in terms of being in my womanhood, being in a very womanly figure, and the shame that the men in my life have placed, not my husband adores me, but men in my life have placed around how I look physically. So feeling unsafe to be in the inverted commas sexy body. I have a very large bust size in terms of like 14G. I have a G cup. Like people talk about double Ds. It's like we'll go way higher up in the alphabet, like, and notice how that feels. So there's been a lot of shame. But then when it started to pile on the weight because it was like, I don't want anyone to look at me, I went, I don't like how this feels either. So this year for me has very much been permission to myself to desire weight loss. Permission for myself to go, actually, it's okay for me to want that, not just for my physical health, but for how it makes me feel when I'm in my body that I know is vital and radiant and all of these things.
Yeah.
So that's been like a very shadowy experience that I've had over the last, since being a mother, really, giving myself permission to desire my physique to be a certain way as a woman, especially in a society that does tell us like, you shouldn't look that way, and me not wanting to buy into that rhetoric, but also going, I just want to feel good in my body again.
It's almost the trap is that the illusion is that there's a perfect shaped woman's body.
Yes.
That's crazy, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Like 8 billion, 4 billion women on the planet, and they all should have the exact same shape.
100%.
That's just, that for me, that's the definition of ugly. That's ugly. If
it's not okay.
If everybody looked the same, identical body-wise, I'm like, that's just repulsive.
Absolutely.
Like it's diversity.
And this is why I lent into the other end of the spectrum to do a big fuck you culturally to body standards and body image. And I was a little bit of an advocate for women's bodies in the modelling that I did do. And then I realised, firstly, advocacy work is so exhausting, and I couldn't be this vocal person who was just arguing. It's not me. I'm not here to do that.
Well, interesting when you say advocacy, because for me, advocacy means doing something for someone that they can't do for themselves. Well, that may not be the true definition. That's my definition.
Yeah, no, I see that.
And because I don't think you should do things for people that they can do for themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's probably where I got it wrong.
That might be where you got exhausted.
I'm going to be booked in these campaigns and I'm going to be the diversity card, and that's going to make everyone realise you can look all these different ways. Plus, I can say I'm a model, so it doesn't matter what my body's doing because I'm attractive. And I haven't spoken about this to anyone, so you got the scoop here, Pete. But for me, it really was this, and I only said this to my agent 3 months ago. I rang her and I said, I don't want to be a model anymore. I've tied so much of my identity up in it's okay for me to be a certain weight because I'm classified as the plus size model or the curve model.
Right.
And I've also been receiving external validation based on the fact that I can say I'm a model.
Gotcha.
I don't need to say that anymore.
Yeah, because you've got internal validation.
I don't need the external.
Once you have internal validation, external validation is meaningless and has no value.
That's how it's felt. So it's been very recent, but I'm no longer a model on
Yeah.
any books.
I thought you were a great plus size model.
Thank you.
know,
Thanks.
like, she's killing it.
Yeah. I booked some good work.
Yeah.
But
Was that exhausting or not? That wasn't the part that
I
was
loved
exhausting.
to do. Look, don't get me wrong. I love to be in front of a camera. I'm a Leo. I love it. But for me, it was actually, I didn't just want to be a coat hanger. And also the fashion industry and the models that they use in Australia especially has gone way backward. Like I was not getting any work. But secondly, it was less exhausting and more, I just want my body to be for me. And
Right.
I just want myself to exist in my body and just let it do what it wants.
You and Trent.
And obviously Trent. Yeah, he gets to benefit from the bod. Yeah, he gets to benefit from the bod. But it's felt really nice to take that literal inverted commas weight off because alongside that, I mentioned this to you earlier off the potty, I've had physical weight drop. And I do think a lot of that has been tied up in this mask that I was wearing around being the curve model or the plus size model because at least it was safe for me to be above the weight that I actually want to be.
Right.
So that label's gone and the weight's falling off too.
Yeah. And you were able to identify that.
I did.
Yeah.
I identified
Well,
it.
this is an external validation thing. That must mean there's a gap in my internal validation. If I'm just internally validated.
I feel like I'm actually more radiant having taken that label off. And gone, I'm not, because I just get to own it now. I don't need the validation of bookers or agents or.
Interesting about the mold toxicity. I have this theory that, and I don't know how true it is, there may be some truth to it scientifically. Well, toxins in the body are generally stored in fat.
Yes.
So that's scientifically okay to say that. I'm not sure about mold, but molds produce a lot of toxins, mycotoxins.
Yes.
So it's not just the mold, it's also the toxins they're producing. So the more mold you have in you, the more weight you're likely to put on to keep, because the fat's there to encapsulate that toxin, to take it out of the system. And then what can happen is when you start losing weight, it's releasing those toxins back into the system.
Don't say that. No. I've been on this crazy journey in detoxing the mold. I've been getting lymphatic drainage massage for over a year now, but that was every 10 days. Like the machine that they use, I've been doing that. Like
I've had the big suit.
Yep. You wear the white suit. Shout out to Simone at Sante. Yeah. She has been working on me, and so we've had the lymph stimulated for over a year before the weight actually started to drop. So it's been a very, very long journey for me. But my theory about mold is it's also, and I mean, you'll know this, it's parasitic energy, but it's entity energy. And it, like, the two go hand in hand. And in my experience, we were living in a church and I was practicing as a psychic in a church, and my husband and my little girl were fine and untouched by the mold, but it just kept getting incrementally worse and worse and worse for me. And from part of my understanding of what happened was, yes, it was the mold and it was environmental, and equally it was like an entity/spiritual attack on my system.
I have several schools of thought around this topic, around entities, and I've shared this before on another podcast where I went through a dark night of the soul. It was actually coincided with my second Saturn return when I was around 58, and I was living by a creek in the forest, and so there was a lot of mold in the house. But I also got bitten by mosquitoes and got Barmer forest virus, and ended up getting tested, and I had cytomegalovirus, Coxsackie virus, and soon after that I got Delta version of COVID. So I was like under viral attack and had mold illness.
Wow.
And having all these symptoms, night sweats and all this, like seeing dark spirits and like literally like crazy. Insomnia, really like depressed mood, not suicidal thoughts, but morbid thoughts of death, dark thoughts.
Yes.
And I went and saw a local GP, and he looked at my palms. Yeah, that was the physical exam. Like he didn't do blood tests or anything. He looked at my palms and he said, okay. He goes, I think I know who you need to see. You need to go and see this person. It was a doctor of Chinese medicine. And so I went and saw this doctor of Chinese medicine, and she said, you've got goo syndrome. And you know the word guru?
Yeah.
Yeah, guru means from the dark to the light. So goo means dark. She goes, you've got dark syndrome, what they call dark syndrome in Chinese medicine. I'm like, what's that? And she says, well, it's associated with cold, dark, damp, decomposition, death, and dark spirits.
Shut up.
I'm like, yes, I'm having all those things.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so this is, I've talked about this on another podcast. So with another Chinese medicine doctor, I realized now, I didn't realize at the time, my housemate where I was living was a narcissist and sociopath, but I didn't know it back then. So I was living in a very toxic environment with a parasitic roommate.
Oh, I have chills.
And I was being attacked by all these like vectors or parasites or viruses. And so I know what it's like to experience like parasitic attack. And it's, you know, Jung believed that people who are empathic and like, in other words, people pleasers, and those types are more prone to these kind of attacks.
That description of goo syndrome you just described, where were you 18 months ago? That was exactly textbook what I was going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't until leaving that home, but not even, this is what's interesting, Pete, this is how I knew it was energetic. We left the home, but we owned it, so we needed to sell it. We needed to do work on it to sell it. So we were renting in our new home, mold-free. Yes. I was on my healing journey. It's great. We still had the home in our possession. It wasn't until we sold it 6 months after moving that the lightness came.
Oh, wow.
We weren't even living in it, and it was still attached.
Gotcha.
We had to sell it and exchange the keys, and the light. Trent and I both felt it the day after the key exchange. We're like, oh my God.
So you're saying that's a spiritual attack?
Yeah.
And you said energetic.
Yeah.
Because I've got two schools of thought around the whole, because I'm a shadow work guy. And I'm also a spiritual guy, but I know a lot of people believe that there's these like dark entities and spirits, and that they exist in the non-physical world.
Yes.
That they can cross through the veil into the physical world and fuck with us on a physical level.
Yes.
That may or may not be true. That's possibly one way of looking at it. Then I look at it as, no, there's no real external dark entities. They're all internal, but we project them out into the external.
Interesting.
So I think the dark spirit lives in me as part of my shadow.
Yes.
Good and evil is in all of us. So I think when there's a dark entity, is this just an expression of my own shadow, aspects of my own shadow that I haven't yet integrated? So, it could be a bit of column A, a bit of column B, neither, both.
I reckon it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a bit of both. I definitely can see how going to that darkness in the experience of my physical health, like, I had to go there to be who I am right now. I couldn't be who I am without that experience. So I can see why that would have been something that was created in my journey to become more, especially doing the line of work that we do. It's like to be more compassionate, to be more open, to understand what other people are going through.
That's a very good point, because if you go through enough of that dark night of the soul stuff where you're like in all those things, dark spirits, morbidity, death, decomposition.
I've never felt terror like this in my life.
Yeah, right. I get it. I get it. I was there too. I'm like, this is fucking crazy terror, like satanic or like whatever you want to, whatever your definition of terror is.
Yes.
I had all those kind of thoughts and things. I think, because as trauma therapist and shadow work coach, the people that come to me are bringing pretty dark, heavy content.
Of course they are.
And I don't feel I need to even protect myself from it anymore.
Yes, interesting.
It's not mine. That's not true. On one occasion, I smudged the room after the person left.
Oh, dear.
But generally, I don't feel I need to do that. But I think it's because I've encountered that kind of energy and first of all, survived it.
Yes.
Come out the other side, back to the light.
Yes.
And can transmute. And so I can be with that process when someone else is going through it.
You're not afraid of it.
No, because I've encountered it.
So you can face it head on, which actually makes you better at what you do. So what a gift that you went through that, even though it was really fucked up, because that was my experience. It was hectic.
I wouldn't recommend them.
It was no way.
They're not for everybody.
No way. The stuff that was coming up for me, I was like, I'm going insane. I can understand why people are put in asylums. Like, I was there. I was at breaking point. I was like, I said to Trent at one point, I just want to be hit by a truck, not to end it, But to be put in a hospital where people can look after me because I can't
I
deal
can't
with
look
this
after myself anymore.
I can't do it
Yeah.
anymore. And that's when I was like, the other point for me was I had no hope left. And I always have hope. I always have faith. I'm always like, oh, I can face this head
Hopeless
on.
is a tough feeling to sit with, but it
Yes.
is important to sit with it when you're feeling it,
Yeah.
because people will run from hopelessness or helplessness. That's a tough one to feel. So any feeling that's hard to feel, we will avoid or reject. And
Yeah.
if you're feeling hopeless and helpless, I actually say lean into it.
Yes.
Allow yourself to feel it, because any feeling that you really allow yourself to feel will pass.
It transmutes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But Jung says what you resist persists. So if you resist the hopelessness and the helplessness, you're going to feel hopeless and helpless for longer.
100%.
Yeah.
And you wallow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely lent into that helplessness, but it was not, or hopelessness. It wasn't nice. Oh, so thank God I'm at the other side.
Yeah, it's great to be back in the light.
It is.
So we're both gurus.
Well,
From the goo to the roo.
I can't deal with the goo syndrome. That I'm gonna dive right. I'm gonna rabbit hole that tonight. That was me, which makes sense that out the other side there's more light, because that was the dark. You said it was the darkness, right?
Yeah, through the
Wow.
dark to the light.
That is insane.
Yeah, and it's the light that's shining. It's the sun. And sun kills mold. It's all related, isn't it?
Oh my God, it's so interesting. And you're a Leo sun in the 8th house. I remember you said this. I'm in the 2nd, which is opposing the 8th,
Yeah.
but I've got my North Node in the 8th house. So I've got that energy in me too.
Yeah, interested in all the occult stuff.
Yes. Yeah, oh yeah.
So you're a psychic.
Yes.
Three things I want to know about that. Can you give a definition for a psychic? When did you first know that you had psychic abilities? What else did I want to know about psychic? Just let's start with that.
Start with those.
Yeah. What's the definition of a psychic, and when did you first know you had it?
For me, a psychic is someone that can tap into the energy of the person they're reading for and give guidance as to the path that's laid out for them.
The path ahead.
The path ahead.
Yeah.
The path ahead.
Oh, so it's not necessarily looking at what's behind them.
I could if they wanted, but most people want to know what's coming.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you could, I've never been told to define psychic before, which is so cool. I can predict things that are going to happen in people's lives.
Yeah, wow.
I only work with light. I only work with love. I do not, there's a psychic code of ethics, would you believe, Pete?
Yes, I would believe there ought to be.
I don't know how many practice with it.
Right.
But part of that code of ethics is you do not work in
the
darkness.
dark. No.
Absolutely not. So I've had to do a lot of work over the years to really be pristine in the energy I tap into, tune into, pick up on. But my personal relationship with being psychic is any person who sits opposite me, I am leaving them feeling inspired, uplifted, and with clarity on their path forward.
Okay.
No questions off limits. I can tap into any area of someone's life. The less they tell me, the better, because that's when I can actually be in flow. I don't want them to give me intel.
Gotcha.
It's always conversational for me. Every psychic's different. You can have psychics that do psychometry where they need an object from the person, or psychics that are more of a medium and then they speak with spirits who have crossed over. All mediums are psychic, not all psychics are medium. Fun fact. I am a medium. I do not practice mediumship. It's not something that I like to do. So for me, it really is just an opportunity to actually, back to that hopelessness conversation, give the person I'm reading hope around the best path forward that's right there for them, and then giving them action steps to take on that path forward. I'm always in communication with their team of guides. So that's their angels, their spirit team, their guardians. I invite them in at the beginning of every session, and I use myself like I'm not doing it. I am the vessel, the channel for the wisdom I'm receiving. And my job as the psychic is to make sure that I have a pristine dialogue, clear communication with spirit and their team to then relay what I'm being shown.
All right. So you call in allies.
Mm-hmm.
Your allies or the person you're reading is allies? Both. Okay, right. Yeah, okay. And then you're reading the energetic field that's in the room of the person sitting in front of you.
Yes.
And then you get downloads or
downloads and I get in channel, and the more that I speak, the more that it kind of evolves from there.
Okay.
It's very conversational, my reading. So people can interrupt. They can go, oh yeah, that reminds me of this time, blah, blah, blah. That's all very, very welcome. They can ask any questions, but I ask them to leave questions for the end, because usually in the session we answer the questions before they get to ask them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't ever set out to be a psychic. That was not...
Yeah. When did you know you were one?
Well, I had just been made redundant from a corporate job. So I worked in strategic marketing for 5 years in Sydney. I was working with publicly listed clients It wasn't a soul job, but I thought I had to, inverted commas, do the corporate city gal because I lived in Sydney. I grew up in Sydney. It was all I knew. I burned out and decided to do wellness coaching when that was a thing. It's coming up to a decade ago. And I had my wellness coaching certificate 1 and 2. And mainly my sessions were goal-setting sessions, $50 goal-setting sessions with my friends.
Yeah.
And they would come to the home I was living in and I'd start to know things about them that I couldn't explain.
Oh, wow.
So it was when I was in one-on-one capacity with people and I was like, I'm hearing, it's my voice, but I'm hearing fact about this person. I'm just going to bring it up. And they'd be like shocked. How did you know that? And so I freaked out. I had to reject it fully before I could lean right into it. How do I know these things?
Yeah.
I didn't set out to know these things. I don't want to know these things. And so I started going to these meditation circles run by a local woman who was a psychic. And she straight away tapped me on the shoulder after like the second and was like, I just want you to tell me about that person in the circle. What did you feel? And I explained. And she was like, I knew it. You're psychic and you have come to me to learn. And so then I went on a kind of 2-year journey of cultivating my skills. I still lived in Sydney at the time and I would fly up to Byron by myself. I stayed at the Health Lodge once in their little lodge at the back with the communal shower, and I went and learned from Kira Kai up here and would sit in circles reading for people and realised, oh, this is actually something I can do. I'm not just making it up and I'm not just a crazy person. Now I need to learn how to do this in a really pristine way. And I was still coaching at the time, but more and more people were asking, can I have a psychic reading instead?
Okay.
And so again, it was this thing of I didn't find it, it found me. And so I have been giving my psychic readings for 8 years. They've been the main part of my work. And I, up until recently, never really spoke about it.
Yes.
Because there was a lot of shame, fear of judgment.
Yeah, imposter syndrome.
And knowing
This girl's
literally,
yeah.
She's saying that she's a psychic. Yeah. People in my life as well, family members, it was a whole thing.
Yeah, right.
I'd always been spiritual. I'd always loved seeing psychics. And I had one of the first psychics I saw said, you're psychic. And I went, no, I'm not. So it took a lot of work again on acceptance and going, this has found me. This is the work that I can help more people doing this work than any other work I do.
Psyche is the soul. It's not the mind. Yeah, the word psyche, I think it's from Greek. And there's a Greek myth and Psyche, I think, was the sister of Aphrodite, and she was a mortal woman of great beauty who became immortal. So what part of us is immortal? The soul. And so psyche actually means soul.
Wow.
So you're seeing into the person's soul, maybe.
Oh, that is so cool.
Maybe you're picking up stuff in the field or reading stuff in the field, but you're connecting on a soul level, I think.
That's 100% what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is 100% what I'm doing.
And your podcast is called what?
Soul Talk. Oh my gosh. Pete, you're good. You're in channel. You are something. Definitely. That is exactly what's happening. And every time someone has a reading with me, it's, oh my gosh, you're just reflecting back to me what I already knew. Because we have it all inside. It's again what I was talking back about being the permission slip. That's again what I'm doing in the psychic reads. I'm giving people permission to go after usually the life that they've put on hold, the life that they've been too afraid to pursue. That's one of the best parts of my job, is saying the life that you desire is right there for you. It's waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
But you got to do these things to get there.
Right. It's not just going to land in your lap.
It's not just going to land in your lap.
Part of the psychic code of conduct, does that anything in there about not doing a psychic reading on a podcast?
I would love to do a psychic reading. Do you know, no one's ever asked me this, Pete. I've been on a lot of podcasts. I think mainly because I haven't really lent into the psychic
Sure, I get it.
in me. And now it's more, I'm out and proud.
Yeah.
It really is alongside the I don't care what people think of me.
LGBTQA.
I would be honoured to give you a little tune in. Is that okay?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Do we need to dim the lights or light candles?
No, absolutely not.
I didn't think so.
I knew, and just for the listeners' sake, I knew that Pete was going to ask me this question. So I called in your guardians well before this episode. So they've been with us the whole time, but I told them to just wait up in the wings for this time. The only things that you need to know, I won't get you to ask me any questions yet. We'll see what wants to come through. You're going to see me close my eyes, do things with my hands. It's all my way of connecting with channel. feel free to interrupt or share. That's always welcome. That actually is more helpful for me. Like, this isn't a party trick where you have to go, is she right or wrong? Okay. It's more just like lean into it, whatever feels true. The most important thing, and this is what I say in every reading, is that I'm reading a snapshot of your energy and time in this moment. You have free will. You get to go and choose whether this resonates, whether it doesn't, whether to act on it, whether you're not going to act on it. You are the master of your destiny, not me, and not even whatever I am channeling through. Does that make sense?
It does. I just got one more question to ask about the code of conduct.
Okay, good. Okay, ask away.
I kind of had a psychic reading this morning with someone else. Is it okay to have 2 in one day?
Let me just tune into that. Let me see if it's
Well, I actually went for a massage.
Oh, and they tuned in for you.
And they also work with cards. And so I got massage and a bit of a card reading, but
it feels fine.
Does it feel fine? Yeah.
It feels fine. We won't go too deep as well. I
got a beautiful reading from this and it seemed very spot on. And so
it feels light.
Yeah.
No, I love this. Okay, no, this is totally fine. It's totally fine, especially because usually my readings are 45 minutes. Yeah. So we'll just keep it surface, see what your guides want to show straight up. And to be honest, they've been talking to me today. So I already knew some of the things they wanted to say. So let's get into it.
We don't need to go 45 minutes, even if it's like 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing that actually wanted to come through is home environment. Around us, potentially a move. And it's so interesting when I read for people that I know, because I know you and I know your beautiful home. And I was like, why would Pete ever leave this space? And it's I'm hearing the word imminent as I say that. It's like I don't know if you've been given a timeline where there is a move that potentially might come for you. It feels like the right move is what your guides are saying. So whatever you are looking at or contemplating, or maybe it's just a little thought you've been entertaining, a move would be very good. It feels like it's something for the family and even growth in the family. And I don't know if there's a second little being that you're calling in, but I feel a second being. So when spirit babies make themselves known, they kind of come through to go, if you're not wanting that, use extra protection because they're gonna land anyway. So just being extra cautious.
2 condoms instead of 1.
Well, literally, don't rely on the pull-out method because it ain't gonna work. And I promise you, this has happened countless times where people are like, "You warned me and I didn't listen." So just being aware, and this is your choice, right? This is free will. Yeah. You can choose that or not, but just know that there is, and it feels like a little boy energy very strongly. Regardless, the move feels good in terms of. I don't know if this is a personal experience you're having for you where it's like I've outgrown my time here, or there's like an energetic outgrowing, but there's something bigger that's beckoning you. It feels a little bit north. It doesn't feel too far away, but there's just, I don't even know where Tiagra is, but that kind of area. Where is Tiagra?
Not sure, but it's around here somewhere.
Okay, yeah, because it was like ringing in my ears.
There's a Tiagra and then there's a Tialgum. But Tiagra is actually not too far. It's 5 minutes, 10 minutes out of Byron.
Interesting. Well, that's how it felt. It felt not far out of Byron, but a little bit more north. Okay. So just if you are, or if it does become...
If something shows up in Tiagra, go for it.
Absolutely. Lean into it and go, that's for me. The other thing that's actually been resonant, and it makes sense that we're talking about shining, is the solar plexus is coming up for you. So firstly, I like to tap into the physical experiences that someone might be having in their gut and their gut health, their stomach health. Precursor, and I say this in every reading just for the listeners, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical practitioner. You need to go and see those people if this feels true for you.
Yeah.
But it just feels like there's almost like a dysbiosis is the word that's coming through. So it's and the other word is malabsorption. So you're doing all the right things, you're eating really, really good quality food. It's like just a little tweak that actually there's an energetic upgrade happening in your solar plexus where more people are going to be seeing your work. You're likely leaning into all eyes on you in a whole new way. With that comes the physical growth that wants to happen in the solar plexus. So energetically, it's kind of growing really quickly and your physical body is going, wait up, I just need to like find a new foundational level. Does that make sense? A new baseline?
It's interesting. All this is I can relate to because I'm predominantly a carnivore. I basically organic meat and fat almost. I stopped eating vegetables quite a long time ago.
Yes.
But I'm wondering if I should be introducing at least a little bit of vegetable. And I've just started eating sauerkraut. I found some very nice pickled sauerkraut, like high quality organic stuff made right here in Byron.
Wow.
And I'm finding I'm really digging the taste of it. I'm like, it's like my body wants this.
Your body wants it.
But it's sour fermented, which is how I prefer to eat it. And I know that stuff is a prebiotic, and so which maybe
Makes sense.
maybe just being predominantly carnivore isn't the right balance for my gut microbiome.
Your microbiome needs fiber. This is what I'm hearing as you're
Yeah.
talking. So there's some sort of fiber aspect to introduce. If you're not getting it through veggies, it's actually okay. Like they're actually showing me that your body is thriving. Like you are just like young beyond your years is what they're saying. And it's more that there is some sort of fibrous. It could even be psyllium husk. It's something that's actually going to just make you a little bit more regular and just move stagnant chi is what I'm hearing from the solar plexus.
Okay. Yeah, I have been having a few gut issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is, they're not going to go away.
No.
So just get on the fiber
They're
train.
letting me know I need to
They're
be
letting
doing
you know
something
you need
different.
to be doing something different. And it's not that you need to stop carnivore, but it's like reintroducing some sort of fiber to be consistent.
I'll take that advice.
It's going to clear you out, and actually more of you is going to be able to shine and be in your Leo light.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's like chicken or egg. Is it my physical health or my shining? Well, the both. So let's look at business. They're kind of giving mini read across all spectrums of life. Business, the extra investment you're considering will reap rewards that you're seeking.
Okay.
So whatever financial outlay you've been thinking about, where it like someone extra working with you or some sort of there's a lot happening. I'm in a business rain right now and there's a lot happening, lots of moving parts. So the first thing is the financial outlay you're considering is worthy investment. It's worthy of your time. Yes, go for gold. The second thing is you relying on the wisdom you hold and the wisdom you hold alone. Like there's so much wisdom, and we spoke about this at the beginning actually off the podcast, where you're like contemplating doing solo episodes. It's your voice, your voice, your voice. You don't need to lean on guests all the time or other people all the time. That yes, that's obviously great, but you as the thought leader, at the level that you know you're here to be, like it's time to do that now. So the solo episodes are a yes. The book that you're contemplating writing is a yes. I don't know if you've already started it, but good. It's going to take off. Write the book before you sign the deal, if you consider signing the deal, because self-publishing could also be okay for you. You don't need to necessarily go down the traditional route, especially when it comes to, and that could be the investment you're just thinking about, like, do I fund self-publishing? Obviously, you'd still need to get people involved in how that would look. But regardless, the book wants to be written. It's great you're writing the word sooner rather than later in terms of finishing it off.
Yep.
Like make a commitment to getting it done. I'm seeing by the end of the year you could have it done. So just smash it out.
In the next 3 months. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
If you
Happy
can
to do
sit
that.
and
Yeah.
dedicate and smash it out, then you can, like, in the new year, something feels more like a tendency towards self-publishing to start with. You know, Anth. I'm seeing Anth. Talk to Anth because she did the self-publishing thing too.
Right. You went with a publisher?
I went with a publisher, and we can talk about that offline.
And my neighbour's written a couple of books, Chip Richards.
It feels,
So I don't know if he self-published or... Yeah, I think he might have self-published at least one of his.
Your book is a no-brainer, is what they're saying.
Okay.
So give it your dedication now.
Yeah.
It's not like a I'll get to it thing.
Right.
It's like
it's wanting it to be...
It wants to be birthed.
It wants to be birthed
It
now.
wants to be birthed.
Yeah.
It wants to be out next
It wants
year.
to be a December or January baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At least like first gestation. So anything else with work that wants to come through? Yes, give me a second. Stages, audience, TED Talk. More people need to hear your voice. And so there's this cap that's happened in business for you where you've got this word of mouth thing happening, which is great.
Yeah.
But it's all the same people, same community, same thing. There is so much more that firstly your soul is yearning for in terms of, and we're Leos, we can say this, the recognition and acknowledgement of the wisdom we have to share with the world, but also it's actually your dharma to be seen and heard by the masses. And so they're saying this impatience that you're feeling with it or this urgency, it's actually a good thing because it's the fuel to go, no, this is the path
This is
I
the
need
time,
to, this is now, it's now. So with that in mind, how can you step more into that, get the book done, because the book is behind the scenes when you're writing it, right? People aren't seeing you. That's why they want it done quickly, because the longer that takes, the more you're hidden in the shadows of writing the book.
Right.
Being out of the
That's a good point. I'm hiding in my own shadow.
You're hiding literally as you're writing it. So once that's done, it actually frees up a lot more space for you to be in the light scene. I love this shadow light thing. It actually sums up the entire podcast, right? So next year you will be on stages. There's going to be some sort of like tapping on the shoulder opportunities, more than one. I see you getting on a plane. You could potentially be going and speaking in Melbourne. Sounds like it's going to be Melbourne. But there are more workshops and more people who are aware of how important shadow work is. And you being the thought leader, I'm going to say in this country, is you're already there in terms of the wisdom and the knowledge acquired, and now it's for more people to know you. That also doesn't really answer the question of how do you get more people to know you, so I just want to tap into that a little deeper. I feel like you already know this, but I could be totally projecting, but it's not all about social media. Like social media is part of the beast, but it's not the whole beast. The podcast is much more it, and it's almost like someone's going to be listening to an episode and they go, he's the guy for me. And in terms of they're going to introduce you to a whole new wave of people who are going to come to know your work and who you are. So lean on that word of mouth.
That's interesting because in the human design, I'm a projector.
Oh, me too.
So the projector is meant to wait for invitations.
Yes.
Rather than initiate. So I think the manifestors initiate.
That's right.
And so, generally I would respond to an invitation.
Yes.
I responded to one on the weekend because I don't like to go where I don't feel welcome.
Let the invitations come.
Yeah.
And they will.
And I've been noticing more invitations that feel abundant just in the recent month or two.
Yes.
So yeah,
they'll keep coming.
Yeah.
And it's through the podcast. It's not through any, like the podcast is your channel. And this is why the solo episodes need to start, because people need to hear you speak, just you.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Got you.
Family, the word I'm hearing is nourishing. It just feels really deeply fulfilling. There's nourishment, there's fulfillment, there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of love. As I said, there is a second baby that would want to land, should you both be open to that. Off-grid, I just feel like off and disconnection. Like that just feel like in terms of not disconnection with community, but just the more that your family life is off the radar, off surveillance, off the grid.
I'm not a fan of surveillance.
Yeah, no, we don't like that. It just feels like that is like the heartbeat of the family, and you are the protector of that for them.
Yes. I've always felt that way, that I want to be not in the suburbs.
No.
Not in the thick of... No. Yeah, not 5G, not surveillance
You'll
cameras.
Always be on property. Yeah. You'll always be growing food. Yeah. You'll always have your bees. Like that just... Whatever you have here, any move that you do make, be it soon or later, like years later, is going to be even this amplified.
Yeah.
Like this, it feels like you'd have this massive land where you just have lots of people come and gather and like almost like entertaining a little bit. Like, and not in like parties way, not in a Great Gatsby way.
No parties.
You'll have...
You're talking to a Leo. I want a party.
Community. Well, yeah, I see music and I see like almost like festival vibes, but just like you get to do this for your people.
Yeah, I was half kidding.
Only half. Is there any question you have about, and this is a very short reading, but any other life area I haven't touched on, or anything I did touch on you want me to dive deeper into?
First, I can say that with the move, we've been here 3.5 years, and the owner just sold this place in auction 2 weeks ago.
You're kidding?
No. So we do actually are looking at moving. We have a meeting with the owners next week to see if they want to. We heard they might want to keep us on, but we've got to see what the deal is. Beck's ready to go. She wants more room. Maybe she's thinking second baby already. I don't know. We haven't talked about it too much.
You have to talk to her about it.
Yeah, and I've got to be ready. So yeah, there is an imminent move on the horizon potentially, and so I'm totally open to that. And sometimes when self-doubt creeps in, like I'll be getting ideas anyway. Yeah, I think I need to pivot here or pivot there. And I'm like, but is that the right move or not the right move? So to have a psychic reading that is confirmational or affirming is just all I really need. I don't need much more than that. I don't even need to know that it's 100% accurate. It's just like, hey, that's enough for me to just jump.
I can work with that.
Yeah, I can work with that. It's and it was really, a lot of it was quite similar, although there was differences to the reading I had this morning.
Because, it's obviously they were also reading your energy today.
And the same ally. She called in my spirit guides and everything. Yeah, so.
And it's probably why they've just come boom, 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 because they're like, we've already told him today. Because they really were very clear.
But this is kind of new information.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, yeah, differently presented.
Was there anything you had any questions on?
No questions arose. I'm just like, yep.
I love that the move, because I was like, oh my God, Pete can't leave this property. It's beautiful.
Well, yeah. I mean, I said I would only ever leave here if we upgrade.
It feels like an upgrade.
And this was an upgrade from our previous one. And so, like, it doesn't make sense to go backwards.
No.
Like, I'm only because I've got a family now, I've got to upgrade. And in order to do that, then my business needs to thrive. And then, I see potential for my business to thrive. And I am thinking of investing more money, even though I've already invested a lot and I'm still not profitable. People say, well, why are you going to invest more money? But I'm like, well, that's the kind of guy I am.
Kind of makes sense. I mean, they were saying it. It's not meant to make sense.
For me, it's about self-belief in a way. Like, I've got to believe in myself and I've got to be willing to take risks. Otherwise, what I'm going to do, just go get a job in the bank or something?
You never will. Your work is so important. Like, that was very clear. You need to be known by more people. You're working your words. That's like your voice. Your throat is so clear. Like, whatever work you have done in this space, in this arena of owning your voice and owning your truth, like, your guides are going like this, because it's like that I'm assuming has been like a thing in the past.
It's hilarious because I guess one of my barriers or hesitations is it's interesting because a friend of mine who's a great thinker and speaker has the same hesitation. We early in the podcast we had that gap where there was this moment of stillness and silence. I have this fear around that if I did step into the public speaking space, that'll happen. Have one of those like
freakouts.
But it's interesting because it's how you view it.
Yeah, that's
the problem, not the actual gap.
Yeah.
Because a lot of great speakers have big gaps in their talks. And but I've got this fear of having a gap.
Interesting.
And I'm making, does that mean they're going to see me as stupid? So maybe I still do care about what people think about me. Will I be seen to not know what I'm talking about? Will I be seen to be stumped or, deer in the headlights kind of scenario? I did have an experience like that. It's just triggering a wound from university when I had to give a I had to give this speech on. I studied accounting at one point. Can you believe that? I know. So I got all the way to the very last. I never completed it. I failed the last subject 3 times.
Thankfully.
Yeah, I agree. But I remember I had to give this big public, not big, but to my tutorial group, talk on something like the taxation implications of financial cost accounting in something or other, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't get a more boring or dry subject.
Yeah, I literally disconnected when you were talking about it.
Great.
I went away.
Yeah.
You'll see it in my face.
Yeah, I think that's
what
happened to me in the talk. I'm sure I dissociated. So because I didn't really like accounting, my dad wanted me to be an accountant. As a people pleaser, it fits.
Sure, of course.
I didn't prepare very well. Like, I thought I knew the material, but I didn't know it. And I had to get up and speak in front of the class, and I stood up. And I'm like, my talk is on. I said about 2 more words and I just froze.
Wow.
All my mates in the tutorial class looking at me, the tutors looking at me, and they're like, have you got anything else? I'm like, no, I don't think I've got anything else. He goes, did you prepare for this? I'm like, obviously, I don't think I've prepared for this. Yeah. And I'm just like sitting there, and it was an uncomfortable moment.
Yeah.
And I felt embarrassed, humiliated, small. I wanted to go and find a hole I could crawl into.
I mean, it's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, public speaking is the most feared thing. I think death is second.
Agree. Yeah. I was literally about to say that.
Yeah. And so anyway, I had this stage fright moment. Yeah. But, I think like in terms of public speaking, whatever invitations I get, I'm confident I'll be fine because like, I'm happy to sit there, ask me anything and I'll answer it.
Yeah.
Tell me to produce a presentation.
No.
Maybe not really my jam.
No.
But if you want me to come and talk, give me some things you want me to talk about, throw it out to the audience, give them a mic. What do you want to ask me?
And this is what they're saying, like your voice is ready. There's no work to do on this. It's ready to go. But it's interesting the solar plexus came up because, right, that's like power and owning the spotlight. There's that little... And maybe just speaking about it has resolved it, that fear point. But I will reflect back to you when we had that pause earlier. I didn't feel uncomfortable in it, and it didn't feel like it went on for long at all.
Yeah, it didn't really go on long. I think it just triggers.
It triggers the thing where you're like, oh God, fill the gap.
It triggers to the university thing, like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, because normally I'm not uncomfortable with silence. I'm not.
No, I know you're not.
I like silence actually. I'd like more silence. So maybe I'll that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just reframe my perception and experience of silence
Great.
when I'm speaking, so that if I'm speaking and there's a silence, I'm going to love the silence rather than fear it.
Yeah. And if all else fails, turn it into a meditation moment for everyone. Okay, actually, we're all going to breathe for a minute.
If you haven't worked it out yet, this is a moment of silence.
Exactly.
So take a breath while I gather my thoughts.
While I go, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'll just bring out the comedian in me.
Exactly.
Yeah, which he's gone into the shadows.
Comedian?
I used to be like, you wouldn't know me now because I'm a bloody trauma therapist and shadow work coach, and most of the content I'm talking about is usually kind of dark and not that
it's
funny.
heavy.
But at school, I was the class clown. Like I
can see that.
I was always making people laugh. But that part of me, I need to retrieve that part.
I think that's the part that wants to be yes as you step into more eyes on you. Like, and this speaks to the light in the shadow.
It's interesting too, yeah. Because when I went on this men's group that I told you about, the retreat, this guy that got up and spoke, who wrote the book No More Mr. Nice Guy, he's from America. I like the American accent. He was about my age, and he got up and spoke about his book, and he was quite funny.
Yeah.
Like people were laughing like every couple of minutes. I'm like, this guy's a good speaker. Like, I didn't necessarily agree with all the things he was saying, and it wasn't that really I liked. It was like, he's funny. Like his presentations aren't dry and informational. They're more like he weaves humor into it. And so I think maybe that's what I can.
It's an invitation for you to lean into that.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had a
so more silence and more humor.
More silence and more making people laugh. Yeah. I had a brand person review my business and tell me, Hollie, do you know your unique value proposition? And I was like, no, what is it? And she said, your humor. It's that you make people laugh. Yeah, right. It's that you're funny. Yeah. I haven't been very funny today. I haven't given you my good stuff. But there's something about humor that is captivating to people, especially when you're talking about dense and heavy topics. Yeah. So if you've got that in you.
Yeah, I just got to bring it back online.
Bring it back online. Yeah. That's the gift. Yeah. I'm excited to see Funny Pete. You can try some of your lines on me.
I'll share another moment that just came up. You have cringe moments in your life.
Oh yeah, I have plenty.
I went on a cruise when I was living in Los Angeles and cruised down to Mexican Baja, like a week cruise, and they have a talent night.
Oh no! Yeah. What'd you do?
Stand-up comedy. But in the Australian genre.
Oh, self-deprecating.
Yeah, and the Americans don't get Australian humour at all.
No.
So I bombed.
Deadpan.
Bombed.
Stop. Do we have footage of this?
No, thanks.
I wish.
This was back before mobiles.
I can't.
So, yeah, I mean, that might have given me a bit of a comedic wound.
Look at these themes. The themes of you on stages in front of people talking where you've bombed.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. There's the wound that wants to be looked at. That's why it's come up today. I'm excited for you. Also, props to you for being brave enough to go up on a talent night and do stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy is hard.
Yeah, well, I didn't prepare.
Again, there you go. It's the preparation thing, Pete.
Well, I get it.
All the patterns are connecting. This is why I love doing this work, because the person I read for joins the dots themselves. I'm not doing it.
I think the thing I'm going to act on first is finish the book by the end of the year.
Finish the book.
Yeah,
the book is very loud.
That thought's been there, like, Pete, the book.
Do you know how many people are going to recommend your book? And it's a word of mouth thing again, which you've got in spades.
Shall I give the title out? Okay.
No.
All right.
No, we can talk offline.
All right.
Tell me the title
I'll
offline.
Tell you the title offline.
No, because that's going to be that's what's going to make people pre-sale, and we want the pre-sales because that spikes interest.
Don't give it a spoiler.
It's all this book strategy.
We'll have to do another one because I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, and there's so much more we could talk about. I think we scratched the surface.
I really think we did too.
Yeah, and you don't live that far away.
No, it's 25 minutes down the road.
Okay. Thanks, Colin. It's been amazing.
Thanks, Pete.
Hollie Azzopardi. Just give plugs to your books again.
Yes.
The People Pleasers Guide to Putting Yourself First, and the People Pleasers Guide to
Saying Yes to You.
Saying Yes to You.
Thanks,
all right.
Pete.
Great.